All right, I want to talk about this while I eat my chicken nuggets because the idea came and I don't really want to lose it. So, one of the things I realized while I was heating up these chicken nuggets in the air fryer was that I sort of realized part of the reason why. So, I can't really speak for everybody, so I can only really speak about myself. Is part of the reason why I would procrastinate or why I would not really take action, you know, or never really seriously, you know, follow my goals and dreams is because now that I finally started taking action, I start to realize just how mortal I am, just how human, just how ordinary I am, if that makes sense. I start to realize this potential I had about myself and my own abilities were in delusion, were from within my imagination. If you never really pursue your goals seriously, if you never really try and push yourself to the best of your abilities and really reach your limits and then come to terms with your limits, it's pure delusion. It's you're living in pure delusion, I start to realize that hey, I'm not as intelligent as I thought I was. I'm not as great because I have proof. I have reality. It's not to bring myself down. It's just reality. When it comes to learning, you can choose to show up every day, but you can't really choose to understand. Like, it's not a choice. Like, if everyone had the choice to understand something, everyone would choose to understand. It's kind of like it happens, and you're kind of just at the whims of your flesh suit, at the whims of your brain, whether it can make those neural connections and click. It's not up to you. You can show up every day, but it doesn't mean you're comprehending and you're learning. Or even worse, you are understanding and you're learning, but then you forget it, and now you're like struggling to remember. It goes in one ear and one out the other ear. Just because you show up every day doesn't mean you're going to be successful. You're still at the whims of your flesh, The only reason I say this is because I'm putting time into programming, trying to make games, putting time into making music. And the more effort I put, I'm not necessarily getting more output. I'm getting the same output. It's still not up to me. I could look into techniques. I could try harder. I could try more. At the end of the day, though, it's kind of like imagine yourself as a seed, as a plant. You water the plant every day. You nourish it. You give it red light. You put it out in the sun. You give it all the best conditions possible. But you're not going to scream and yell at the plant to grow faster. All you can really do is nurture it and wish and hope that it's a good seed. And that's the thing with life. You don't know you're a good seed until you start watering yourself, until you start trying and putting in effort. And the reality of things are, it's scary coming in terms with the reality and realizing we're not that spectacular. There is a beauty, there is a bliss, there is a peace of mind about not actually reaching your full potential. I know people talk about the negatives of never reaching your full potential, of dying with what ifs, dying with regret. But there are some positives. The positive is your ego. Your ego never gets bruised. It never gets harmed. You die thinking, what if I did that? I would have been so successful. You don't know that. The only reason you're imagining that, the only reason you're dying while being enamored with your potential of what you could be, is because you don't actually know nor understand your real abilities. So, because if you never do, you get to imagine all these things you can be. But once you do, you realize all the things you are, right? And that illusion, that imagery of yourself can either come crashing down or we can make excuses. But then if we make excuses, we're never going to progress, because the thing is this: there's people out there that only do things that they're naturally good at. But this is the thing: they're only good at those things is because they did them as a child, or they interacted with them and they developed some competency. But if it's something truly novel and new that you haven't really experienced, of course not. It's going to be very manual. It's impossible to be good at it. So that's the thing with like narcissism. We have to check ourselves. We have to check our ego. We have to be humble. And also, we don't have to be humble. We can choose not to be humble. The only reason I say humble is because it hurts a lot less if we are humble. Seriously. Some people, like, learning any new skill and going into like the pit of despair in terms of a new skill, you have to be humble. The pit of despair is always going to happen no matter what type of field, no matter what type of skill. You have to embrace the suck. You have to feel small. You have to accept the fact that you're really just a grain of sand on a beach. A lot of people don't like to think that, you know, but we're really a grain of sand in the beach, you know. We're really a water molecule in an ocean. I mean, and you know, um, and some people's egos are super inflated, but it's not even inflated based on reality. I think the number of people with inflated egos, I think the vast majority of them, their egos are not even based on facts or reality. It's just word of mouth, you know? The only reason I say that is, listen, people go on and on about how amazing human beings are, but in my first-hand experience, and just from like using a crumb of logic and common sense, the vast majority of humans don't know shit about what the things we use each and every day, the things we interact with. The vast, I know this sounds weird, but like the 1% of humans really drive us as creatures forward. When people talk so highly about us as humans, they think, hell, I'm included in the vast majority of people. I'm part of y'all. I'm not saying I'm not part of you, but I'm just speaking facts. When we talk about how amazing we are as creatures and species, for the vast majority of people, including me, I'm not part of the animals, the part of the 1% that's driving us forward. I tried, but the whole point of this video was me just realizing that, bro, I am as normal as can be, you know? I'm trying to learn skills, making no progression, making regular human progression. What can I do, bro? It's been 6 months. I've been trying to make games, zero progression. That's just the truth, man. I don't know how this mic works. I don't know how this computer works. I don't even know how to make a fork, man. You put me in the wilderness, I'm dying. I don't know what's edible. I know lots of fruits and stuff that, you know, that be on trees. I can't eat that. I don't know shit. I don't know agriculture. I will die. That's just the truth. It's kind of crazy to me though. Um, how some people are so narcissistic, their egos are so up their ass. They think they're so like amazing, but the truth of the matter is, they're not even gonna be in the history books, man. They're not even gonna be in the history books. Over time, they're just gonna be in a nameless grave. Like, I mean, I understand ego isn't good or whatever, narcissism, but like, it's kind of like depression or anxiety. Some people's lives just suck, and they have every right to feel that way and think that way. Now, I know there's toxic positivity and whatnot, but like, you know, the only reason I say you're not supposed to, even though you have every right, if everything in your life are indicating one thing, yes, it makes common sense to think that way. But the reason why we shouldn't is because one, we have one life and it's disastrous. It's negative, you know, even if everything in your life is shit. And so you do the logical common sense thing and also think like shit. The issue is, yes, you are going with the flow. You are going with what life is throwing at you. I'm not saying to like pretend it doesn't exist, but thinking that way doesn't serve you, because if everything in life is being an asshole to you, we ourselves shouldn't be an asshole to ourselves, right? So we shouldn't be an asshole. We should strive and do our best to at least make the inside of our head a nice abode, a nice oasis in the desert, you know, a little heaven. Um, so, um, so even if you are an amazing person, and this is based on facts, and your ego inflates and the narcissism increases, even though you have every right to think that way, the reason why you should still stay humble is because by giving into this inflated sense of self, you're gonna fuck up your life, man. You're gonna lose perspective. You're gonna see people as lesser than you, and you're gonna make lots of mistakes, because even amongst the elite, you're still simply one of the elite, you know. Even if you are the top dog, you're just the top dog for now. There's always bigger fish. The bigger fish may not have been born yet. That's why some women, fuck it, even some guys, as they get older, get so like crazy and weird and insecure, because all they had going for them was really their beauty. And now they're a weirdo, jealous of the younger people, and then they start getting surgeries and whatnot and look like monsters. Because I mean, sometimes, like, you know, life, it can be pretty shitty, and sometimes people just hold on to like their only positives in life and make that shit the whole personality. But guess what? Like everything in reality, it's all temporary. Everything falls into chaos and disorder unless you're cultivating it. But also, should we even be valuing things that can be taken away from us? You know, not to say I'm a super philosophical person, but so I mentioned that I like lost my job recently. So I've been really with to change as a person, not necessarily as a reaction, but more like a choice. Because a lot of times I be wishing to change and I do my best to change, but it's never a choice. It's always a reaction to what happens in life. And recently I've been, maybe it is a reaction to life. I lost my job recently, but I was like pretty cool with it though. I wasn't like too stressed. Um, fuck. I will say the thing with Spotify, the way of organizing books is so ass. So I will say the things we read and interact with definitely puts us in different headspace. I've been listening to Thoughts Without a Thinker recently. I'm on like chapter 6, right? And I don't know, man, it does something. Like listening to these books puts you in a specific headspace. I would definitely say books and whatnot, even audiobooks, they change you who you are. They put you, it's like information marinating in your head, and it just puts you in a different headspace. And I don't know, the only reason I've been like talking about this is because of this book. You know? Um like what can I say, bro? I'm essentially a neat. No job. No bev. Have you even seen me take a sip of bev right now? I'm essentially a neat. Eating chicken nuggets. Unemployed. So I might as well do something with my time. So, my unemployed ass said, you know what? Might as well become enlightened. What else am I gonna do with my time, man? Might as well reach enlightenment. Every time I go and scroll, every time I go on social media, bro, like what am I even doing? It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's nothing. It really is. It's just a void. It's just emptiness. It doesn't amount to any shit. So instead of like doing nothing that feels pleasurable, I might as well do nothing that feels uncomfortable. So I finally got into like meditation, but I will say though, change does not happen without changing your self-perception. Like I tried, man, with meditation. Like even setting an alarm for like a minute, and I just could not meditate, not even for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I couldn't do it consistently. My mind was just like, fuck out of here. So I had to take a really different approach. So if you're like really struggling to change, you have to just start telling yourself you have the identity of that. Like instead of saying I'm gonna read, or I have to read, you have to just start saying you are a reader, and keep saying you are a reader, right? And then eventually you will pick up the book, you know, and start reading, even if it's a little bit. Because I think the hardest thing about habits and action is just literally, it's kind of like the Big Bang. Nothing happened and everything happens, right? Initializing action is so hard. Initializing action is so difficult, especially once you start a task. It's such a pain in the ass to even stabilize your focus too. Like for me at least, it feels like it takes me a little bit of time to really settle into the task. Otherwise, I'm like fighting the task. Oh, my bad. Oh, sorry. I got a little too into this chicken nugget. But, I don't know. Just speaking my mind. Bye.